like the balance that they had in race.
Casey Kane, we congratulate him, his third career pole.
It's all three Hendrick Motorsports in the front.
There's a few movers and shakers out there.
To victory lane is Joey Logano.
Get the inside line on who's fast and who's last before setting your NASCAR fantasy race team this weekend. This is the Inside Line on MRN.com, presented by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your fantasy experts, Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
It's Fantasy Friday on MRN.com as the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series heads to the last great Coliseum in Bristol, Tennessee. He's Robbie Mays. I'm Tyler Burnett. We're here to talk about fantasy racing on the best day of the work week. That'll be the last one, Robbie Mays. Let's talk about Kyle Larson's win last week. What an impressive restart. Probably one of the best restarts we've seen in a long time.
Probably one of the best performances we've seen in a very long time, especially from Kyle Larson, who has struggled to find speed and consistency all summer, basically since he won the last time we were at Michigan. And he goes, and I'm not going to say he was mediocre, but he was not one of the best cars for 199 laps on Sunday.
Top 10, maybe,
But he wasn't a winning
somewhere
car.
in the middle of the road.
But that restart at the end of the race, whatever they gave him on that last pit stop to get him going, that should have done that the whole day there. But, yeah, congratulations to Kyle Larson. Had a great weekend. It was cool. My favorite part of last weekend was Saturday night during the Knoxville Nationals. Kyle Larson's team stays at the same hotel that we do in Michigan, and we were actually down, Tyler and myself, a bunch of us were actually down in the lobby watching Kyle run the Knoxville Nationals with his NASCAR crew. So that was kind of cool. But, yeah, congratulations to what's his nickname? Is it Young Money? Is that what they call him?
Yes, but you have to spell it Y-U-N-G.
Oh, boy.
Because, he's Japanese. So
okay.
That's no, he seriously, if you spell it Y-O-U-N-G, he will call you out on Twitter and say that is not how you spell it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But anyways, I think Larson will be good again this week, and,
Yep.
and we'll talk about him more throughout the show. But Bristol is definitely one of his favorite racetracks. The only problem, though, is this racetrack has completely changed since the last time we were there. They have put this, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to call it the Bristol Grip at the bottom of the racetrack. PJ1, VHT, whatever you want to call it.
To me, it sounds like airport abbreviation code.
Yes, some kind of syrup or liquid or whatever.
The goop.
Is at the bottom of the racetrack, and the track is now one lane at the bottom of the racetrack. I personally don't like it as much as the last time we were there.
Well,
but if you're old school like Robbie, you move people out of the way. That's how old school Bristol used to be.
Well, we saw in the truck race on Wednesday night, the bottom was the preferred groove, unless you're Kyle Busch in stage 3 and you go wherever you want to all over the racetrack to pass cars. But I think tonight in the Xfinity race, you're going to see the bottom groove be the preferred line. But I think tomorrow night, as the stuff wears off, as the race goes on, I think you're going to see the groove kind of widen out a little bit, and I think that'll produce better racing tomorrow night.
Kyle Busch won that truck race you just mentioned, so can Kyle Busch win today's race? Can he win Sundays? He might be able to win all, Saturdays.
We're racing on Sunday. We've done
Today's
something
Friday,
before.
yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
Can he win all 3 races this weekend? We're about to find out.
He's done it before.
Also coming up on the show today, the host of NASCAR Garage Cam, our friend Matthew Dillner, will be on the show. It's going to be fun to talk to him from NASCAR.com. We'll also play Under the Rock. We'll get Rango Fowler's picks, and maybe he'll drop some more glitter for Robbie Mays today. And then after the break, we'll play Sideswipe. That's all coming your way on this edition of the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
MRN's Winged Nation on MAV TV.
Rico Abrams in the house. How are you?
Now, this is great to be on MRN, Winged Nation.
Brian Brown.
You guys do so much Winged Nation in general for our sport. It's
it's awesome. You take us to the next level, and it's just awesome to have such a professional run show that is representing our sport, and something we're real proud of.
Greg Wilson's in the house.
Yeah, and thanks for what you guys do. And shout out to all you fans. You guys make our sport, and thank you.
Saturdays at 8:30 and 11:30 Eastern on MAV TV with Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
Like 'em or strike 'em, the inside line goes in for another side swipe. Here's Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
The best game of the week we like to play on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. I know what a crew call they play that. What is that game? 5 off, 5 off, something?
That's not a real
Anyways,
show.
we're playing Sideswipe today on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. So first, I will let Robbie Mays go because he's struggling at fantasy this year. What are you, somewhere in the 500s?
I beat you last week.
You beat me one time this entire calendar year. So, congratulations.
Daryl, what's first?
Daryl, who's our first guy?
Clint Boyer today.
Clint Boyer. Okay, so he's been pretty good at Bristol throughout his NASCAR career.
Yep.
Top 10 finishes in 3 of his last 4 Bristol starts. Even when he drove the 15 car a couple of years ago for Harry Scott Racing, I mean, it's still he's good at the racetrack. Okay, so Bristol to me is a racetrack you always going to start Clint Boyer. He's having a good year so far. He needs to be a little aggressive to make sure he's a part of the playoffs. I'm going to swipe right on Clint Boyer.
I like it. Finished second the last time we were there, which was in the spring. He started 9th at Bristol, so that's a good pick. I don't know if he will lead a ton of laps at Bristol, but I think he can get you a solid finish.
Yep.
All right, Daryl Smith, who's our second one?
Let's do Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 3 top 10s at Bristol in the last 5 races. It was this race last year where Ricky finished second. 9th in the spring. I think Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is probably a top 5 pick this week because of his price, because of most likely where he's going to start. We don't know where he's going to start as of right now, but if he does not qualify well, he is absolutely a must start. I'm going to swipe right on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Probably the best place to start Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is at Bristol.
Or Talladega or Daytona.
Or Talladega, of course, yeah. Because
I agree with
he's
that.
won 2 restrictor plate races
Yep.
this year.
All right, what's next?
Matt Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth. Okay, so Matt Kenseth has a pretty good record at Bristol Motor Speedway over the years. And again, he's another one of these guys. Ever since they announced that he wasn't coming back to the 20 car next year, he's kind of been one of the better cars in the garage for some reason. I think at Bristol this weekend, he's also going to have to get up on the wheel. He's also going to have to be a little aggressive. Joe Gibbs obviously is pretty good at the track. I'm going to swipe right on Matt Kenseth this weekend.
I like it, especially if he qualifies like he did in the spring. He qualified 22nd and he finished 4th. That was definitely a top 5 fantasy play the last time we were there. So watch where Kenseth qualifies. I still think he's going to be pretty solid at Bristol. All right, my second pick.
Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin. Actually, if you go to MRN.com, Denny Hamlin is my pick to win this race. It might change by the time we get to the end of the show. You never know.
No.
Actually, my pick to win the race, someone else had already. So we'll see how it shakes up at the end of the show. But Denny Hamlin I picked online. He had his second kid.
Earlier this week.
Early this week on Tuesday. So
Wednesday,
congratulations to Denny for that. But I think Denny would be a good start this week. He's not obviously going to miss this race because this kid was born. Really good at this track, 10th in the spring, 3rd in this race last year. I'm going to swipe right on Denny Hamlin. I think he would be a solid pick this week.
Yeah, top 10 in 3 of the last 4 races at Bristol Motor Speedway. He's got the win back in 2012. Not great last week at Michigan, but I'll agree with that. Swipe right.
All right.
Who's next?
Trevor Bayne.
Trevor Bayne. Okay. Had a great run at Michigan last week. His teammate Ricky Stenhouse gets around this place pretty well. Trevor has had success at Bristol in the past. I just don't know that he's going to be a good option for you this week. If you've got a driver down in his price range that you're debating back and forth with, somewhere down around like, $12, $13, if you're looking maybe a Paul Menard or Casey Kane or Danica Patrick, Casey Kane might be the best out of that group. I just don't know about Trevor Bayne this week, so I'm going to swipe no left on Trevor Bayne.
Trevor Bayne's worst finish in the last 4 races at Bristol is 15th. So, for that reason, if Trevor Bayne does not qualify well, I would be open to the fact of starting Trevor Bayne, but I'm kind of with you. I don't think he's going to be a contender for the win. I think that Trevor Bayne probably is not a good start if he qualifies towards the front. All right, our final picks.
The spring winner, Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. His recent speed at racetracks, as far as, let's say, since he won at Bristol the last time we were there, has really scared me. They have not been a good car, for a while here. Really hasn't even been a factor for a win. But his numbers at Bristol in the last 5 races are the best. I mean, a win in the spring, 7th in the race last year, and this race last year, 23rd. But then, of course, before that, 4th and 2nd. Jimmy Johnson is a guy I have to debate. I'm going to swipe no on Jimmy Johnson this week, but his numbers intrigue me.
So he's DNF'd in 3 of the last 6 races in 2017. And even though he has top 10 finishes in 5 of the last 6 races at Bristol, I'm going to agree with you. That team right now, they're doing exactly what they did last summer. They struggled during the summer months last year, and they came on hot during the chase. Bristol is a racetrack, 500 laps tomorrow night. You can get a ton of points for laps led. You can make bank on laps led tomorrow night. I don't see Jimmy Johnson leading many laps tomorrow night. I see guys like Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, those guys leading a bunch of laps tomorrow night. So I agree with you. Swipe left on the 48.
And before we get to a new edition of our show, let's add the must starts here. You mentioned a guy like Kyle Busch. I personally believe he's a must start.
Yeah.
The only problem with Kyle Busch is you look at his last 3 starts at Bristol, 35th, 39th, and 38th. You have to go below guys like Derek Cope, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Cole Witt. Kyle Busch has been worse than those guys the past 3 races.
Here's my thing, though.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I think Kyle Busch is a must start this week, but what do you got?
In the last 5 races, he's led 448 laps.
Okay. So he's just had problems towards the end of the race.
He's had problems towards the end of the race. Last year in this race, he led 256 laps before he had a problem at the end of the race.
And at one point from 2007 to 2011, Kyle Busch could not lose at Bristol. He won 5 races during that time. So I personally think Kyle Busch is going to be good this week.
My other must start, Martin Truex Jr., obviously, and I think Chase Elliott will be a good start this weekend.
That'd be good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, our new segment we're going to add this week before we head to break is, well, how did this idea come about?
We were sitting in a pub in Ithaca, New York, having some cold beverages, as we normally do, and Tyler said, let's use an emoji to describe how a driver's going to do this weekend. So that's kind of how this game
We're all
came
about pop culture here, even though I'm not great at it.
No.
But all right, let's throw up our first emoji, and Robbie Mays and I will decide what driver matches that emoji this weekend and as far as fantasy starts.
All right, let's get the first one.
Oh, a little sunshine.
Sunshine.
All right, what do you got, Robbie?
Kind of cool. I think Clint Boyer. Kind of cool. Wears the sunglasses even at night. So do I. I would say Clint Boyer.
I heard him say this week that if he wins the race, he's still going to pull up to the top.
Yeah.
What is it? The media center?
The media center.
He said he's going to pull up there. He's not going to. He's too cool to pull into to victory lane or the front stretch or whatever. This week I'm going to say Kyle Larson, and here's why. He's too cool for the bottom lane of the racetrack. I think he's going to create his own lane at the top of the racetrack, and by the end of the race, he's going to be running the top. He's going to be a top 5 car. I think Kyle Larson will be one of the only cars up at the top of the racetrack because he's too cool for the bottom lane.
Okay.
So that's why I'm.
All right, I got Boyer. He's got Larson.
Next one.
Oh, OMG.
Is that like I'm scared or something?
It's OMG.
All right, who do you got?
Wow, Dale Jr.
Why?
Because I don't think he's going to have a very good night tomorrow night.
All these fans who are watching this right now just.
I know, helmet and pads. I'm sorry, guys.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your pick.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to say, can I say like a team? Like
Sure.
RCR?
Okay.
Ryan Newman is pretty decent at Bristol. Austin Dillon has been pretty decent, but they have struggled mightily. So I'm going to say Richard Childress Racing is detailed by that emoji.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Next break, we're going to talk to Matthew
That wasn't
Dillner.
terrible.
We're going to talk to Matthew Dillner next. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Summer Brake Deals event. Take advantage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Do It Right rebate and get a $25 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's almost the most refreshing time of the day. Busch O'Clock, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Busch beer. Busch's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going fishing, nothing is better when it's time to relax with a crisp, cold Busch. It's Busch O'Clock. So grab a 6-pack of Busch beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Busch Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you need help with moving your equipment? Industry-leading companies do, and they trust Housby Transport to move their internal equipment promptly and professionally. At Housby Transport, we pride ourselves on efficiency, timeliness, and saving our customers money with our team of logistics managers always ready to assist you in any way possible. Any size, any type, anywhere. Housby Transport is ready to move. For more information and to obtain a quote, visit Housby.com. Housby, an official sponsor of NASCAR for over 40 years. Let's talk more fantasy racing on the Inside Line. Here's Robbie and Tyler.
Today at Bristol is practice at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's coming up after this show. We apologize. Matthew Dillner will not be able to be on the show this week. We're having a technical difficulty with our phone lines, so if you wanted to call on the show, you're probably not going to be able to do that either. I actually wanted to get Robbie's dad on the show at some point and have Kirk Mays drop his fantasy wisdom. But Robbie doesn't seem to agree with that for some reason. Just leaving you out cold there.
Thanks. Appreciate it, bud.
So
during the break, he got Fall Out Boy stuck in my head. So when we're done here, I'm going to take him out back and
let's play a little Inside Line karaoke.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about some of the starts this week. First off, we haven't mentioned yet that there are 7 Cup drivers in the Xfinity Series race tonight,
yep.
Which you can watch. And one of them, which you all will be happy to know, that Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be in the field tonight. And he is the only driver to ever win both the Xfinity Series race and the Cup race at Bristol. And that was 2004.
Kyle Busch did it too.
Was it? But it wasn't the August race, right?
Yeah, he swept all 3 races in 2010.
You're wrong.
I'm not.
Well, someone else.
Slap bet.
Wrong facts. But
Slap
anyways,
bet.
He did win both the
He
Xfinity
did.
Series race and the Cup race.
Yes.
His only 2 wins at Bristol. Sorry that he's not the only one to do it. Maybe that was some false information. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. did do that in 2004.
Yeah, he did in 2004, and that's where the whole "It's Bristol, baby" thing came from in Victory Lane back 13 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been 13 years ago. We talk about Dale Earnhardt Jr. Winning that race. We talk about Kyle Busch, who did win all 3 races in 2010. I want to go back to it. He hasn't been able to get the finishes at Bristol, but I still think that the return on your investment for Kyle Busch more than outweighs any possibility that he might finish poorly on Saturday night.
I agree with you. There's no argument on this side of the table with starting Kyle Busch this week, and I think that
not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you, Kyle. If he goes out there and leads every single lap, you're going to look like a fool if you don't start him. So
I'm going to start him.
Yeah, well, I know you are.
Yeah.
All right, then who else do you like this week? I mean, you mentioned Martin Truex Jr.
I do.
I am not completely sold on Martin Truex Jr. this week. I think he will be okay. I mean, when we were there in the fall, he did not run all that great. I mean, he was 8th, so he had a top 10 car.
Yeah. He led 116 laps, though.
Yeah.
So I'm going back to laps led.
Okay.
The last few weeks, we've had a lot of races. Michigan was 200 laps. Watkins Glen was 90. Pocono was 200. It's been a while since we've had an opportunity. I guess Dover was the last time we had a race that had a huge number of laps, 400 laps at Dover, 500 laps tomorrow night. So I'm going back to the whole, even if you have a driver who doesn't have a great finish, if he leads laps, that's where you're going to make your money tomorrow night.
There are 2 guys who intrigue me, and both of them are in the Xfinity Series race today.
Okay.
Daniel Suarez.
Yeah.
Who has been, he has 1 Cup start at Bristol, and he was pretty decent. I want to say somewhere, 18th. Okay, not great.
Well, that was back in the spring. He was just getting started in the Cup Series. He had only had Scott Graves as his crew chief again for, 2 or 3 races. And again, it was only his 7th or 8th start in the Cup Series.
That type of racetrack is, the type of racetrack Suarez is going to have a good run on.
Yeah.
He's been great, this year, especially probably since around this time when he finished 18th at Bristol. He just got even better and better, and I think Suarez is intriguing. Another guy who's in the Xfinity race tonight is Joey Logano. What did you say? How many top 10s does he have at Bristol? 5 or something in the last?
So he's finished top 10 in 5 of his last 6 races at Bristol, and he's won here twice in those last 6 races as well. But I think he's got to Hail Mary it tomorrow night. I don't see him. Unless they do something strange and weird, I don't see them being a top 10. I don't see him being a top 5 either.
He finished 5th in the spring. I am not going to start him. I'm just going to say that now. But he he could be better. You mentioned Chase Elliott. I like that. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he was in our side swipe. Clint Boyer was in our side swipe. He finished second in the spring. So there are some guys this week that you could potentially start that would not, maybe last week wasn't all that good. But I think could turn that around at Bristol this week.
If you're looking for other guys, Jamie McMurray, this is one of his better racetracks. Best finish here is third twice. His top 15 in the last 6 races at Bristol. What about Brad Keselowski? Won here a couple of times. He's been in the news this week. Won the pole last week at Michigan. Dominated at Michigan last week until probably the last 85, 90 laps of the race. What about Brad?
Yeah, I like Brad. I think he's been running better than the 22, which is his teammate Joey Logano. So I would definitely start Brad over Joey Logano. I personally believe that Kevin Harvick is a better start over Brad Keselowski. I mean, you look at
last year.
You look at last year, he won the race. He was third in the spring, 3 podium finishes in the last 4 races. We haven't even mentioned Kevin Harvick yet. I think he's a top 5 start this week at Bristol.
I do too. I think he is definitely one of those must starts. So my must starts this weekend are Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, and Kevin Harvick. Basically what I've been doing all summer.
So you're going to start them 3?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to think about somebody else, maybe like a Denny Hamlin, or I'm going to look at practice times and see. You have to hit on 3 guys who you think are going to lead a ton of laps.
Yep.
Your goal is to get the 3 top tier, or 4 even, if you can afford it, 4 guys at the top of your fantasy lineup in NASCAR Fantasy Live that are going to lead the majority of the laps in the 500 laps, and that's how you're going to win this week.
Okay, let's talk about some value picks real quick. I still like Matt DiBenedetto. I think he gets around this place pretty well. He's in that $5 range. I've got him on my team. I still like Michael McDowell. He's been pretty successful for me this summer. He's at $10.50 right now.
Michael McDowell finished 26th the last time we were at Bristol. See, the last time we were at Bristol, Matt DiBenedetto was the best start. I mean, he finished 19th.
Yeah.
He was really good the race before that at Bristol as well. I think he was in the top 10. So I'm intrigued by what that team is doing. I agree with you. Michael McDowell would be a good pick. Ty Dillon was 15th the last time we were there. He started 26th. But those are some of the value picks. Cole Whitt was 21st. That team has kind of gone down a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick Cole Whitt.
But that's what you're looking at the back of the field.
Okay.
So, anything else you got?
Nope.
All right, final break. We'll come back. We'll play Under the Rock. We'll get Rango Fowler's picks. That's all coming your way on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
It's almost Busch o'clock. A time for relaxing and unwinding with a crisp, cold Busch beer. It's the most refreshing time of the day. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Busch. Crisp, cold Busch. Enjoy responsibly. Busch Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
So what are your favorite drivers really thinking? We'll tell you each weekday on NASCAR Today, midday.
Getting married has been incredible. I wish I had figured all this out sooner.
Get the latest news from the sport and the opinions of NASCAR's biggest stars.
Changing over to Ford will open up some opportunities and possibilities and some just pure potential for the team.
That's NASCAR Today, midday. Weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
We now return to the Inside Line with Robbie and Tyler.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. I'm Robbie Mays. He's about to get slapped in the face because I was right about Kyle Busch sweeping the weekend in 2010.
Whatever.
Speaking of Tyler and having things thrown at him, it's time to play our favorite game of the week, Under a Rock or Tyler.
Do you live your life up under a rock? Or are you Tyler Burnett?
Okay, so this week's show. So you've had some good luck this summer.
Decent, but then when I have great luck, you guys throw up some ridiculous ones that no one knows.
Exactly. All right, so I'm not even going to touch that. Okay, so this is a screen grab from a movie.
Okay.
You just name the movie. Donald, Daryl.
Is there any hints or anything?
No, not Donald. Jennifer and Daryl. Let's cue it up. I just got a dirty look. Let's play Under Rock or Tyler. What movie is this from?
I think I actually know it. But I've said that in the past before, so.
Craig, get ready for that rock.
Is this Monty Python's Holy Grail?
No. You said it's not. That's wrong.
What?
You said Monty Python's Holy Grail. It's not. It's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh my goodness. I knew the movie. I've seen the movie. It's hilarious. Bring out your dead.
This photo is Sir Robin, played by Eric Idle, who nearly fought the fierce dragon of Agnor, almost stood up to the vicious chicken of Bristol, and positively wet himself at the Battle of Baden Hill.
All right, bring on Rango.
Rango.
Look at him. Look at him back there. Look at him go. Little Jimmy Johnson pick there, you know. The fantasy foul. Let's see what he has to deliver this week. He brought some glitter last week, and I believe, and Daryl, you might be able to tell us this. Did you drop another glitter bomb to Robbie Mays this week?
Yes, he did. I got a full confession. You haven't seen what I'm talking about. Follow me on Twitter at Robbie Mays.
Yeah, be the one of 900.
It's 900.
800. Sorry.
938. That was a glitter nuke on Monday.
Glitter nuke.
That's what that was.
All right.
Okay.
And we have a little. What is that?
It's a chicken of Bristol.
Oh.
It's the vicious chicken of Bristol.
Driver number 1, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Blaney. So he is not starting Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., or Kevin Harvick. I think that's probably a mistake. But I think that's a pretty solid team. If you look at, as far as finishes, I'm not sure you're going to get a lot of laps led from this team, which again is the goal this week. But Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, Matt DiBenedetto, and Ryan Blaney. His winner is Kyle Busch, and Toyota is his manufacturer this week. Robbie Mays, who wins the Bristol night race?
Okay, so if you go to MRN.com right now and look at our fantasy racing preview this weekend, it's going to say that I'm picking Joey Logano to win, but I'm going to change that on the website.
That's not allowed.
I'm going to change it. I can change that because I know how to do it. I'm going with Kevin Harvick to win this weekend.
Someone else already has Kevin Harvick. I think that was Sean Singler.
Well, too bad.
And Rango picked Kyle Busch. I'll just stick with it. I'll stick with Denny Hamlin. You know, he's riding high right now. He's happy. He just had a second kid. Congratulations to them. Denny Hamlin, I'm going to stick with it. I don't lie to you like Robbie Mays does. You know, he picked, who'd you pick on the website? Joey Logano. He changed his pick on the show. I picked Denny Hamlin on the website. I'll stick to it because I'm going to look like a genius if he wins the race.
Are you done?
Practice coming up at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Hey, be sure to check out Road to Royalty, presented by STP on MRN.com. This week, it's the dominance of Richard Petty at the Virginia racetracks. Robbie Mays, your final thoughts?
I'm looking forward to Bristol tonight. I think everybody's looking forward to the off week next week. And in 2 weeks, the Bojangles Southern 500 at Darlington.
The Bass Pro Shops NRA night race coming up at Bristol on Saturday night. Next week, we have an off week. We'll talk to you then. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
You've been listening to the Inside Line presented by Hercules Tires. Stream us every Friday on MRN.com or the MRN app. The Inside Line is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, or download it through iTunes or Google Play. The Inside Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.